Thoughts on Time, Ecology and Art, Part 1. I hope the following presentation is going to contribute in one way or another to a discussion on the relationship of cybernetics and time, which has been initiated and presented on various occasions by Larry Richards. According to Larry Richards, cybernetics is the craft in and with time. Ideas of time are also linked with other researchers associated with the ASC. We might remember Ranulph Glanvill's objects, which exist only in time, not objective but subjective time. Glanvill's fascination with the work of Samuel Beckett, for example, I assume, has also to do with an interest in a particular experience of time. Mentioning Beckett, one could further ask how cybernetic time relates to both the modern and the postmodern ideas of the relativity of time. The presentation, in certain aspects, also connects to research that Stuart Ampleby has undertaken in collaboration with Tatiana Medvedeva and Vladimir Lepsky. In Russia, non-Darwinian theories of evolution supported a cosmological orientation of cybernetics. Moving the viewpoint to China, then, one could speculate that the worldviews which emphasize the connection between the micro and macro are what create the time of the other. The theatre and performance scholar Carl Lavery, having Beckett's Waiting for Godot in mind, calls it sacred or ecological time. At morning there are flowers to cut the heart, and evening drives them on the eastward flowing waters. Petals are on the gone waters and on the going and on the back swirling eddies, but today's men are not the men of the old days, though they hang in the same way over the bridge rail. Time has passed since Ezra Pound penned the lines on this slide, more than a century. Even more time has passed since the words were written in the original Chinese by Li Bai in the first half of the 8th century Tang dynasty. Still, flowers bloom, petals fall and decorate the waters here and there. Are they the petals of the old days? Whose old days? Humans rarely hang over the bridge rail to watch the flow of time. Most petals pass unnoticed. Time is not nature's time anymore, time of the old days and the sublime distant but modest time. The time of the Anthropocene is technology's time. In the 1968 movie 2001, A Space Odyssey, in one of the most memorable scenes of the film, director Stanley Kubrick tells us that the dawn of man occurred with the discovery of tools. The capacity to think objects as tools, specifically to defend and to attack, marks the beginning of technological invention and the transition from ape to human, and it is, according to Kubrick, just one step away from deserting from Earth into space. The dawn of man scene reflects Darwinian theories of evolution. The focus on struggle, competition and death as part of evolution is in line with the emphasis made by Darwinists. And yet, the scene does not simply present evolution as a biological process. The scene suggests that evolution is a process in which the social-cultural is intertwined with the biological. The scene does not claim to recount scientific or historical fact, It is decidedly marked as myth. Only after the black monolith appeared on the scene does one of the apes discover the possibility to use the bone as a tool. Of course, this is a known pattern. The interference of divine forces on earth and the transference of knowledge and skills from divine to human beings, assisting the latter with the control of their environment, is a common theme in ancient myth. We find it in the writings of Homer, Hesiod and Ovid, but also in the ancient myth of China. The myth of the Titan Prometheus stealing fire from Zeus and passing it on to the humans living on the earth is a prominent and much recited example from the Western canon. Subsequently, living on earth becomes a drama. Zeus does not only punish Prometheus, but the human population as well. Technological progress, the myth tells us, does not come without cost. In associating progress with violence, the dawn of man scene mirrors the view of the ancient Prometheus myth. However, it goes beyond ancient myth by suggesting that technological progress has an impact on the biology of living beings. As we see from Li Bai's poem quoted at the beginning, the question whether the men of today are still the same as those of the old days has been lingering for some time. Whether Li Bai implied that biological change had occurred in those men is questionable. While we cannot know precisely what Li Bai thought, we do know that ancient Chinese as well as pre-Socratic Western traditions saw spirits and nature connected. The first scientific investigations into an understanding of the interconnectedness of nature, society and culture were made by the biologist and zoologist Johann von Uexküll at the beginning of the 20th century. One of the founders of ecology, von Uexküll's most notable contribution to the history of ideas is the concept of Umwelt. An environment receives living beings as objects. An Umwelt, in contrast, is constructed by living beings. Uexküll's research became the basis for the work of Humberto Maturana on the biology of cognition, and subsequently for the research by Maturana and Varela conceptualizing living beings as autopoietic systems, i.e. as autonomous, self-referring, and self-constructing systems, however always in communication with their environments. Notably, von Uexküll's ideas influenced not only biologists and ecologists, but also philosophers with as diverse points of view as Martin Heidegger and Gilles Deleuze, and poets such as Rainer Maria Rilke. The Italian philosopher Giorgio Agamben suggests that the Uexküllian investigations are commensurate with contemporary quantum physics and the artistic avant-gardes, setting the path for the, quote, unreserved abandonment of every anthropocentric perspective in the life sciences and the radical dehumanization of the image of nature, quote, end. The question of a higher or lower degree of perfection in living beings can only be asked if the researcher considers the world that surrounds him to be the universe that surrounds all living beings like him, and to which they are more or less well adapted, as appearance teaches. From this point of view, the human world is considered to be the only authoritative one, and, consequently, the blueprints of the lower animals appear inferior to the blueprints of the higher animals, and in particular of man.